Good news, Elon Musk's Neuralink is now ready to start human trials, brain implants in your brain to solve a variety of issues. So today we're kind of read about what does this mean for you today? What does this mean for the future? We're going to make some bold predictions. And let's read this article from Reuters here. Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk's brain chip startup Neuralink said on Tuesday it has received approval from an independent review board to begin recruitment for the first human trial of its brain implant for paralysis patients. First off, let's break down what Neuralink is if you're not familiar with it. Neuralink is essentially a microchip that would be implanted in the back of your brain. You can kind of see it here. It basically creates new neural activity. That's one of the problems with paralysis and some of these other medical issues is your brain can't communicate properly with that part of the body. So that's part of the problem of what they're trying to solve. But the ramifications are much larger than this because those with paralysis due to cervical spinal cord injury or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis may qualify for the study, it said, but did not reveal how many participants would be enrolled in the trial, which will take about 6 years to complete. So you can see this is going to be a long, let's face it, if you're rewiring the brain, reconnecting neurons, like there's going to be a lot of studies and medicine that need to go into that. We still just have no idea what's going on in the brain, why things happen. Let's keep going. The study will use a robot to surgically place a brain computer interface implant in a region of the brain that controls the intention to move, Neuralink said, adding that its initial goal is to enable people to control a computer cursor or keyboard using their thoughts alone. Wow. Imagine moving things with your mind. It's kind of like you're 11 from Stranger Things, just like moving stuff around. Whew, that's pretty wild. And, especially if you start to think about the integration of virtual reality, augmented reality, you can start to see how your brain can become a powerful integrated tool with all this digital technology that's going to be surrounding us. And I know this sounds like really sci-fi and scary. And I think there's some things to be concerned about because, again, where does it begin and end? You have a long day, hard day at work, you come home, you plug in your Neuralink, and then you're transformed to a completely different world where it's dropping dopamine into your brain. You're just never going to eat or drink or do anything difficult again. Imagine my kids, not huge vegetable fans, but imagine every time they take a bite of the vegetable, the Neuralink says sugar, sugar, sugar. Pretty powerful for getting them to eat carrots, or if you're a conspiracy theorist, eat the bugs. Think about the Matrix where they're just getting these tubes of bug-filled protein into their throats. But what do you care? It tastes like a steak. It tastes like a steak because the dopamine in the Neuralink tells you it tastes like a steak. Let's keep reading here. The company, which had earlier hoped to receive approval to implant its device in 10 patients, was negotiating a lower number of patients with the US FDA, Food and Drug Administration, after the agency raised safety concerns, according to current and former employees. It is not known how many patients the FDA ultimately approved. Musk has great ambitions for Neuralink, saying that it would facilitate speedy surgical insertions of its chip devices to treat conditions like obesity, autism, depression, and schizophrenia. And again, this is kind of what we were talking about just a moment ago. Obesity, like why are people obese? It's because you get dopamine from eating unhealthy food. Like I don't eat McDonald's very often, but when I go to McDonald's with my kids where we're on vacation or something, I pop open that hamburger, I can feel my mouth salivating. It's this release that happens in the brain where we're salivating, and they're very good at this. But maybe Neuralink could turn that off. Maybe it can stop making you want things that you want. Maybe it can make you want things that you wouldn't want. Maybe I don't want cookies. Neuralink tells me I want the carrots, which, by the way, to me is terrifying because where do our desires begin from? It's going to be from inside our own brain or maybe externally from how we were raised. But now you're not going to know, did I have that thought or is that a Neuralink thought? Do I have that desire or is that a Neuralink desire? And Neuralink, you think about the way that social media manipulates us at scale. Just think of Neuralink, where you have this device implanted in your head, feeding you information all the time. And you might say, oh, Mark, that's probably a good thing because it can help us solve problems and whatnot. But who are the people that are holding these levers of power? We live in this day and age where like 50% of people support Trump, 50% of people support Biden or the Democratic Party. I don't know that anybody actually supports Biden anymore. But if what happens here is you say Trump is in office, we don't trust the government at all. Biden's in the office, we trust government completely. Elon Musk controls Neuralink, we trust him completely. Zuckerberg controls Neuralink, we don't trust it at all. You understand how this can flip very, very quickly. Who are the people that have power? Because quite frankly, I believe that nobody cares about myself, my family, my community as much as I do. How could anyone love my children as much as I do? Certainly not their school teacher, certainly not the city, the government, the corporations. They don't care. They all have motives. Like human beings in general are selfish creatures. We do things because of our own self-interest, which in some cases is bad, sometimes some cases it's good because you can predict the behavior. But when we see something like a surgically implanted chip that stops obesity, autism, depression, schizophrenia, these sound good. They sound good at surface level, but as you dig deep, what does this actually mean? And where does the influence actually come from? Is it coming from you or is it coming from our technocratic overlords or the government? An important question to think about. In May, the company said it had received clearance for the FDA for its first in-human clinical trial when it was already under federal scrutiny for its handling of animal testing. Even if the BCI device proves to be safe for human use, it would still potentially take more than a decade for the startup to secure commercial use clearance for it, according to experts. Now, A, I don't know who those experts are, but B, money talks. And if these prove, like, if there's someone that can't walk and then they get the chip and then they can walk again, that is a type of video that's going to go extremely viral. People will say, take my money. I just want to walk again. I was athletic. I went to war. I had an injury. Now I can't walk. I'm paralyzed. I would pay any amount of money for that privilege, for that ability to walk. You'd pay any amount of money. Also, you can get into where does this end? What about bionic legs that can be controlled by the mind? Like it's going to get really freaking crazy. But if you weren't aware of what's happening with Neuralink, if you weren't aware of these implants that are going to be implanted in people's brain stems, I'm glad that you watched this video today so you can see what is coming next. So you can be aware, both when you're looking at your own personal life, your political ideals, but also your business and commercial applications. How does this stuff impact your business? Where are going to be the new opportunities for you to make more money? Because I can tell you, if you're talking about people getting brain chips implanted, there's going to be tremendous opportunity to impact people's lives. Listen, thanks for watching and subscribing to this video. I'll catch you in the next one. If you want to be kept in the loop of AI tools and AI news, this is the channel. Hit subscribe. See you next time. Peace.